Hey guys, I know, it's another late night doing ceramic. I will clean that lens in just a moment so you're not getting that weird spotchiness. So, no one's here yet. Let's see who the first person is. Oh, there's two people here. All right. Jason, Katie, doing ceramic. Give me a second, I'll be right back. So I owe you guys an apology. I'll explain in a second. I promised you guys something I have not delivered yet, and I feel kind of bad about it. The disembodied voice in the background is me trying to explain to you that I forgot to get a video put up, and I just finished the edit on it. But I have been incredibly busy. So, let me see. Let me get the chat back up. Let me see. I know I saw people talking while I was rinsing this off. Let's see. Yo, I am currently doing black ceramic on these. I had an order of 9 of these. I have 5. I'm sorry. I have 3 that are done in one color. One of them I did a test run of a second color. And then these 2 did not want to coat correctly. Do you know how they make? Yeah, they fold it. So let me get a Q-tip and wipe this lens off. So yeah, the Smatch It video. I shot that video. I told you guys it was coming. And then I got sidetracked and I shot it. Oh, there we go. I shot it, but I never compiled it. Nice thing is, I'll get it put up either today or tomorrow. Either tonight or tomorrow. It depends on what time I get out of here. I've got 1 knife completely done out of the 9. Black and turquoise. But these 2 are all black because it's a 2-step process. And I was doing a little bit of research, development, testing of stuff. There are currently 2 that are in the oven. And then there's 2 in the oven, and then once those are done, I'm done for the evening. So I've got about another 45 minutes here or so. I've got 5 knives. So I did heat treat on 10 knives. Took 2 days. 2 days for heat treat. So 10 knives. The oven only will hold 5 or 6 knives. I usually do 5s. To get to 6, you get cramped in there, and you run out of time to get stuff out when it's critical. So nothing, just drinking a beer. So I didn't intend to be here until 8 o'clock tonight, but we all know how that works. I didn't intend to be here until 8 o'clock last night, and I was here at 8 o'clock last night. So, guys, just in case anybody ever questions the price of my knives, I can't charge what it cost me in time to do it. I got up here at 9:30 yesterday, worked till 8. I got up here at 8:30 today, and I'm working till 8. So that's 2 12-hour days. So that's 24 hours just for heat treat. I haven't even started grinding those yet, and I have to pay for belts and stuff like that. So if there's ever a question as to why one of my neck knives costs, and the price is going to go up. I apologize. I know I did some steps to try and lower the price, but the price is going to have to go up. If I'm going to continue to make them, I can't do it for free. So it's just the way it is. It's like I'm making them for free. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I've got a guy in Croatia, Yakov, loves his. He told me he uses it all the time. He's bringing it back because it needs sharpened. He's coming. So, Robert, yours are packed up, and I fucking forgot them. Again, there's a UPS store right there. And I've got your address, and I've got them in a box, and I fucking walked away from the house with them 3 times now. With them just sitting on the counter. So, which is kind of is good because I want to do a video about the sheaths that go on those. But at any rate, I just finished the edit on the Smatch It video. And so that Smatch It video, we gotta go back over there. Those are drying. You know what, here's the thing. I don't need another knife right at the moment. Trading things doesn't make money. So, it's just, Robert, knife maker time. It's a thing. Knife maker time is like, oh, I haven't done it in like 3 months. I haven't done it in a month. 6 months later, it's like, oh, yeah, I've almost got it started. I got stuff I'm moving out of the way to start on it. Yeah, it's just it is the way it is with knife makers. And I'm not even a full-time knife maker, so it's probably even worse with me. But, so I am getting kind of caught up. I finally got this flat. Making steel flat is interesting. It's still got some, there was a smoother spot on the belt that I was going across, so I've got to refinish this just to get it, but yeah, I did too. I was there when it happened. Well, it's what I'm doing right now, but right now I'm waiting on ceramic. So, but it gets weird up here, so I decided it was a good idea. It gets weird up here at fucking night, and there's weirdos running around the place. There's a lot of weird fucking people up here in this, especially after hours, like now. My wife's asking me if I can get something for myself to eat. So, hang on a second. Tell Yuka Emler, that's fine. See if that actually works. So, yeah, finished the Smatch It video. Aaron sent me about 5 minutes. Yeah, kind of. He sent me like 5 minutes of video about his thought process about making the Smatch It. I put it together. Aaron's great. I really am hoping that I get to go to Blade. So that, I mean, I'm going to Blade. I have to. I mean, I've already made commitments to go to Blade. So he's going to hopefully he's going to be able to stay with us when we go to Blade. Jakob's coming. So I'm planning on being at Blade in Atlanta because I have to go home and see my mother. My mother is real sick. Has been. She's had multiple surgeries and shit, but she's had pneumonia twice in the last year. And I'm like, I got to get home. I got to get home and see my old mom. So that's the plan. But I would say if you guys, any of you guys, I'm not like e-begging, but my daughter's GoFundMe is of utmost importance. I'll pay for the house and all that other shit, but her skating has gotten so expensive, and I can't take it away from her. I can't. That's why I'm here at 8 o'clock at night on a fucking Tuesday. Or, well, it's 7 o'clock at night, but it'll be 8 o'clock by the time I get out of here. So, yeah, I've had people donate. I've had a few people donate, and it's been great. But I just, if you can't donate, that's fine. But like, just go to GoFundMe and type in my name and find my daughter's ice skating thing and just share it. The more people I can share it with, the more shares, more better. So yeah, I mean, your stuff's done, and so is a lot of other people's stuff. It's done-ish. It's just too much work, not enough week. That's just where I'm at the moment. Too much work, not enough week. And then there's times like right now where I'm kind of handcuffed by ceramic. It's got to cook. It takes 30 to 45 minutes for that ceramic to cure. So at least it's not cold in here. Last night it got cold as fuck in here. So I've been working on getting those neckers done, getting holes drilled in this, getting it flat. I used Dichem to see where it was low and where it wasn't. I had an order for 9 neckers from a guy in Texas. 9. And then I'm making one for Matt at Armitage Carry. For 2 reasons. It means that if he's got one, I can just tell him, hey, I need like 3 of these sheaths, and then he's got a ready sample that he could just, because at this point I've gotten to where they are all pretty much dimensionally the same. Not to say that I'm like an expert knife maker, but I've gotten to the point where all of my blanks are the same. So let me go get them. I'll show you. So these are the 5 that got heat treated today, and when you stand them up and put them next to each other, while they are water jetted out, they're the same because they're oversized. Water jet, every time they come oversized. Dimensionally, these are, let me get them lined back up, but dimensionally, these are the same. A little bit of difference there, but that'll come out in the grinding, and that's just because of the way I was holding it. So, there we go. You can see they are dimensionally the same enough that it won't matter when he makes the sheaths. So, while you do, when you get stuff water jet, everybody's like, oh, you just water jet, you're fucking done. No. Every one of these edges are canted. I've got a blank here, I'll show you. So when you look down the spine of this, let me find you can see it's got a cant to it, and that's because the water jet, when it blows in, it cones out, and so it blows out more material. So you're going to have more material on one side. Yeah, you can see it right there. See how it's not flat. It's at an angle. And then there's tabs and stuff. All these have to be cut out, and then you got to use surface finish. So water jet, the only thing water jet does is it means that I don't have to use a grinder to cut stuff out of the piece of steel. I still have to make these dimensionally correct, because if you were to put one of these, that's how much oversized, let me see here. Let me fucking line it, there we go. They are oversized by that much all the way around. So, I mean, I still have to do a good bit of grinding. It just saves me having to use the angle grinder and do recessed cuts and stuff like that. And then I can just shape these down to the proper size, which, I mean, you can almost see there's a good bit of difference between the way it comes off water jet and the way it comes out of the shop. So, I mean, most of you guys get it. I know you do, but there's a lot of people on the internet. I don't understand why you're charging. That's just one piece of metal, and you're charging. It's probably gonna be about 130. You're charging 130 for that? You ever do heat treat? You ever had to deal with doing packets and then fucking, let me see here. Do I have live chat on? We got live chat. It's hard to explain to people the amount of work that even goes into something like this. And it's not, to tell you the truth, one of these really isn't any easier than one of these. These were definitely easier than these. These got cut out. I cut these out with an angle grinder, and then shaped everything by hand on the bench grinder. So you've got different contact wheels. The nice thing about a belt grinder versus like a disc, a grinding wheel, different contact surfaces. There's small wheels, there's large wheels, there's flat platens, there's all kinds of stuff, which allows me to, like I said, all of that was done on a grinder. This whole shape out was done on a grinder. So there's a lot of things you can do with one of those grinders once you know how to use it and how to use the platforms and how not to get, the big one is how not to get a bunch of chatter. You can see there's still a little chatter in there. That's because I was using a coarse belt on a high speed. Or I mean, yeah, at any rate, so that I'll clean out and round that back out when this is ready for final finish. That'll probably be done after heat treat. This hasn't even been heat treated yet. That right there, if I was to do this by itself, 8 to 10 hour day. If I do a batch of 6 to 8, or I mean 5, 5 or 6, 8 to 10 hour day. Doing one knife is no faster than doing 5 knives when it comes to heat treat. So I haven't seen my kid in 2 days. So, I mean, I saw her for a few minutes. We were sitting on the couch trying to play a game back and forth on the phone, and I fell asleep. It was last night when I first got home, so. No, I would point you in a direction of other companies that do it. I'm at this point not designing anything new for a little while. I will say that one of these could make a neck knife if you wanted to get the sheath with the, a drop down. It would be a larger neck knife. These are, I think these are 3 1/8, 3 1/4. Let me get the ring of rulers. What is the blade on this one? This is actually just shy of 3. I think Elliot and I made the blade on the other ones a little bit bigger. Just shy of 3 on these. So I forget what the dimensions we used for the, we brought the blade back a little further, I think. It's a little blade on it's a little bit longer than the one that I'm submitting for production. So these will be in production, hopefully. So will its cousin, the Scorpion, which is the trout point version, like a trout, the fishing trout knife kind of. Let's go over and see if that stuff's dry enough that we can bake it. So I'll bring you with me. Bring you with me. So. Oh, there's something I wanted to talk about. There is something I want to talk about. There we go. Set it and forget it. It's like the Ron Popeil, that's the old Ron Popeil catch line. Set it and forget it. So I did that KME video, and people have been losing their freaking mind about the way I was using that system. I specifically said in that video, I was not using it as recommended because I don't feel that the way that they say that they recommend using it gives you a very good edge. So people are like, well, you said that this, and now you're doing it exactly the opposite of the way you do it by hand. No, it is not the exact opposite of the way I do it by hand. If you were to take a look at what I'm doing, heel to tip, blade canted, so let's find, here we go. Heel to tip, and I'm bringing it all the way up at that angle, and I'm continuing to push the blade forward as I travel down the blade. I am still, even though I'm doing it from above, I'm following the same linear direction that I would be. See? It's the same. It may look weird because it's flipped and I'm doing it from the top, but I'm still going heel to tip at this angle. See what I mean? So it still gives you the striations in the correct direction. Just looks funny. Nothing like a cold beer. Didn't say it was nothing better. Just said nothing like it. And I mean, people that are complaining about that in the video, they're not wrong. I'm not using it as directed, but I got news for you. The striations you get by doing it this way, one, you can't tell me that by scrubbing like this, that you can do that and not tell me you're overlapping and grinding one down better than the other. Hot pussy. That's what's better, Chris. Hot pussy. Didn't say there was nothing better, just nothing like it. So if you're going like this, you're going to overlap and you have areas that are lower than others, and it's just not. I mean, granted, for what it is, it probably works great like that if you're just using it to touch up an edge. And like I said, Edge Pro stones, by far the best stones out of any of the fixtured system. But the KME's functionality of being able to flip it, not having to do the hand dance, and being able to get a hold of it and take it out in the field, I think that makes it a little bit better, but it's still not great. Still takes too long. I don't think it's a real great edge, especially if you do it the way that they recommend. So, and I'm not saying I'm not at all like, oh, it's a bullshit fucking system and this and that. No. People take things that I say completely out of context. I think I'm catching a cold, guys. So, what's everybody doing? I'm the only one talking. Ain't nobody putting up any comments and shit. What the fuck? 2 cold beers. What's better than a cold beer? Like I said, hot pussy. Or Ben, you're right. 2 cold beers. 2 cold beers is better than 1. Yeah. I sure hope so. If I wasn't alive, Matt, hey, we'd have problems. That'd be bad. Guys, the hair's got to go. Yeah, I'm sorry. It might go this weekend. I don't know if I can. We got to measure it. Apparently, the ponytail that you have to donate your hair has to be 10 inches from tip to tip. My hair is 10 inches long. Yeah, it was me punching a wall. I'm punching a 4x4 that holds the table together. I can't take it. I don't like having it. I wanted to get rid of it 6 weeks ago. And, I mean, it was cool. It's the first time I've grown my hair long since high school. I mean, my hair is much longer in high school. I did actually, if you guys know, I did trim my beard. It's not going to Locks of Love. There's another one. But Locks of Love, I think, has to have 20 inches, like double the length. I forget what one I looked at. It's only 10, and all you have to do is tell your barber, look, put it in a ponytail, cut it off for donation, and then fuck no, I'm not a ponytail kind of guy. It looks weird. Ponytail on me looks fucking weird. Oh no, that doesn't look. I don't know if that looks much better. There we go. Actually, it's not too bad. Okay, a question. If you had to buy one knife or the other, would you get a KME or the Wicked Edge? I would definitely get KME. The Wicked Edge is not anything that I think is a good fucking... I don't like anything about the KME system. Well, my hair is fucking long. That's the first time I really paid much attention to it. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm not going Locks of Love. They charge for the wigs. Yeah, I guess it looks, I think my hair looks better with the hat off, but then it gets in my eyes and mouth. Well, you say that, but we won't ever know because you know what happened. That's funny. I saw a guy I know here not too long ago, and I had the beard, and my hair was long, and he goes, "Hey, Fat Jesus." "Hey, Fat Jesus, hang on a second." I was like, "What did you call me?" He's like, "I called you Fat Jesus." But that's not funny. He did also tell me a joke that was fucking hilarious, but I won't tell you. Yeah, I will tell you guys. Fuck it, I don't care. He said, you see any picture of Jesus, he was like ripped. And he's like, I was in such good shape. I was like, no, he's like CrossFit. I was like, oh, that's fucked up. That is so fucking horrible. And then I laughed until I almost peed. I was like, all right, that's fucking funny. I'll give you that one. I don't know, Ben. Let's not fucking take this a weird direction. Goddamn thing will wind up getting demonetized and shit. All right, go ahead. Tell me, and then that's the last one. We don't let this fucking going sideways. Next thing you know, it'll be like fucking... I'll be blocked. I'll have fucking... what do they call them? Community strikes on my fucking channel because we just decided to... Oh, we're just gonna fucking tell fucking stupid jokes. Nah, that's not funny. Go ahead, Ben. Throw it up. What's the difference between jam and jelly? Just, here we go. I'm waiting. Jelly and jam. I don't know. Come on, Ben. What's the matter? You can't type real fast? Fuck. Serious question. All right, Matt, let's go. Serious question. Then it's probably gonna be followed by the punchline to fucking. It's probably gonna be followed by the punchline to fucking Ben's joke. I'm ready for a serious question. I'm a serious guy. Can't you tell? Oh, you serious questions. You want to know the answer to the jelly jam shit. No, I don't see it. I can't see it at all. I'm tired, guys. Well, see, I took Sunday off, and I slept pretty much all day. I worked 30 hours between Friday and Saturday. I worked like 30-something hours. Ben, just text me the joke. I don't know. Maybe it's getting blocked. Yeah, maybe Ben should just text me the thing so that I can see it later, because it might be a content filter that is blocking it, because Nico's not here. Nico's not here because Nico had surgery this morning, and I haven't seen Matt log in. Yeah, probably. So, yeah, guys, like I said, I get a ton of I see, Robert, I've seen you've texted me a bunch today. This is the first actual break I've taken. I have walked, let's see, let's look at my activity rings. Just in the shop today, I've walked 8 miles. And the only place I went, I left the house, I came to the shop, I walked over to the sandwich place and got something to eat and walked back. That's the only place I went. That's it. I have walked. Oh, I'm sorry. 4.2 miles. That was yesterday. 4.2 miles I've walked in a shop today. Just here in this 1,334 square foot shop, I have walked that far. So it's been a busy day. Been a busy day. And like I said, I didn't even go anywhere. I haven't even had any coffee today because I forgot my coffee. My coffee cup is still sitting on the counter at the house. My wife texted me that at like noon. She's like, you know, you forgot your coffee. I was like, oh, I'm well aware that I currently have had no coffee. So, yeah, I see people text me. I see people email me. I'm in San Diego. So, yeah, I see the texts, I see the emails, I see the messages, and then I try to take like an hour of the day and just respond to most of it. But nice thing is Robert texts me stuff. It says no response necessary. I'm like, great, perfect. That's what I want to hear. I don't need to say nothing. I don't even need to fucking text it back. Cool, I'm good. But I do read them. So you guys know, I read every YouTube comment that is ever posted on any of my videos. I read every fucking one of them. I take some of them down. I take some down from people that I like. Arswig. I've taken some of his comments down, and it's not because I dislike him. It's because I have to look at this channel is directly tied to my business. It is kind of a marketing tool and things like that. And so if there's a comment, whether it was intentional or unintentional, if it seems intentional, there's a good chance that I will block that person for a period of time or remove them completely from the channel. But there's times the comments go up and it's unintentional, but things that are said could take into question. It could be taken into question and then be used and say that maybe it's not a good business practice, or maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. And so if it's detrimental to business, it comes down. And it's nothing personal most of the time. Sometimes I just don't like, sometimes there's people that come on stuff and I'm like, I don't like the tone of this guy's, I don't like the tone of this guy's fucking first comment. Maybe I do a preemptive strike and just block him from the channel, because as much as everybody's like, oh, it's a forum for free speech, YouTube is not a forum for free speech. This is my channel. I defended democracy. I don't always practice it. Matt, I think we're going to leave that be. A question. I bought a ZT-06. The lock has some insane tension. It cannot be closed with one hand. Is this normal, all ZTs? Here's the thing. So your lock tension normally is set by hand, somebody bending it over. If somebody like Elliot or I sets your lock tension, it's going to be stiff. Somebody like Nico or Matt sets it, it's probably get weaker. This thing is so full of grit right now. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I have carried the shit out of this. I've heard that before and I forgot. And it's like, I love that. It's like, you know, it's like, you know, the best part about Alzheimer's? You get to meet so many new people. I've heard that joke before and I completely forgot it. Completely forgot it. It's fucking hilarious. It's kind of like what we did with my kid when she was little. We would take part of her toys and we would put them away and hide them so that they were like new toys over again. That joke just happened. Just happened. Doctor told me I got cancer and Alzheimer's. At least I ain't got cancer. Whew. I don't know if I'm going to monetize this one or not. Matt! Oh, no, that was Nico. Nico, how's the wiener? Nico's here. Hey, Mike, do you know how everyone knows what kind of shampoo Kurt Cobain uses? Yeah, they found his head and shoulders all over the place. That's an old joke. The joke before that was, if you remember when I was a kid, if you guys study history, the first shuttle explosion. So the first shuttle explosion happened, and they had a teacher. She was the first non-astronaut that was ever on a flight. So Sally Ride was the first female, and then Krista McCullough was the first teacher in space. She was like Krista McCullough was like a 5th grade teacher. And it's horrible. I was in 6th grade when it happened. I was in 6th grade, and I'm 40, almost 45 years old. 44, almost 45. And so the jokes that would go around, yeah, you know what NASA stands for? Need another 7 astronauts. Yeah, Challenger. Krista McCullough, you know, they know what Krista McCullough's last words were because she wasn't an astronaut. That was the joke. It's like, what was it? It was like, hey, what's this button do? They found out that one of the astronauts had head and shoulder, or had dandruff. Like, how do they know? Because they found her head and shoulders on the beach. It was all a bunch of fucking nasty, fucking horrible teenage, preteen. Hang on a second, I grab a charger. Sorry about that. My phone's almost dead. It's at like 10%. I have been up here so long today. Is that charging? Blue. One blue this way, one blue that way. Hang on a second, guys. I don't mean to pause you, but I got to check something. I'm back. Had to check something. I got a text from my wife and I missed it. So I was trying to read it real quick. Nothing important. Yeah, old blue eyes. One blue this way, one blue that way. Hey, remember live chat? Gotta run to get smokes before I nothing's worse than get done having sex and realize you ain't got a fucking cigarette left. Like you grab a pack and you're like, ah, fuck. I gotta go outside in my underwear. Hang on a second, guys. I gotta take a leak. I'll be right back. I will be right back. I'm back. What's that, bald spot? So my bald spot is where the hair doesn't grow. What beer do you San Diego guys drink? Well, I'm not from San Diego, but no, I'm not cutting my hair into a mullet. I had one in high school. I don't know what to do about that, guys. That area here where nothing grows, I've watered it. I've given it sun. I've used Miracle Grow. I don't know what else to do. Here's the thing. I'm 45 almost, and at this point, I don't give a fuck about my hair. I've been married for 18 years. Who the fuck have I got to impress? It happens though. Ask Nico. I don't know how. I don't get it. I would if it wasn't so goddamn expensive. This shit's like $7 for a 12-pack. And now, here's the thing. I cannot shave my head. This is the only thing. There's two reasons. I used to get in a lot of bar fights. There's a lot of scars that you don't see. The bald spot here, but there's scars all over the place. My head looks like a fucking topographical map of Utah. The other reason is my wife said I could never shave my head. She'd leave me. And I don't know. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't think I'd fare well in life without my wife. She's the main reason that I'm not in prison and I'm not dead. Well, I mean, I haven't found... That's uncomfortable. My wife is pretty. Thank you very much. My wife is extreme. I don't know how I have managed to keep that extremely attractive woman with me for fucking 18 years. I was telling somebody earlier today, I was like, I think some of it has to do with the way I treat things. And I was like, I drink California beers when I can fucking afford them. So I was telling somebody was like, oh, it's not the size of the ship, it's most in the ocean. And I was like, I'd be more inclined to say it's not the size of the ship, but whether the captain can keep said ship in port until everyone gets off. That's the important part. I imagine. I've had that. That's the key. Yep. Keep said ship in port until everyone gets off. That's the key. So Nico, if you guys don't know, Nico had to have surgery. He had some bladder issues, and they had to expand his opening in his urethra. Nothing about that sounds pleasant. So Nico had to have surgery on his dingus. Which is both funny and horrible. And I hope you I hope you make speedy recovery. I had to wear a catheter for a while when I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital. I fell down an access trunk on a ship. I dislocated my hip, my knee, broke 3 or 4 ribs, and fractured my spine. And I was in the hospital for a long time, and they had me on a lot of pain meds, which caused problems with urination and pooping. And so the nurse comes in. The nurse comes in one day, a little Japanese nurse, and she's like, Mr. Emler, you urinate today? And I was like, No, I don't think so. No. And she's like, oh, okay. And she came back like 10 minutes later with a tray and all that stuff. I was like, what's going on? I'm high. They've got me on fucking morphine and codeine and all the enes. Like the fucking Ean family. I was morphine, codeine, Vicodine, whatever the fuck it was. And so they've got me doped out of my gourd because I broke my neck. I dislocated my hip. I broke my ribs. I was in a lot of pain. I fell basically the equivalent of falling off a 3-story building. And this bitch comes in. She's like, oh, okay, hold still. I'm like, what? And she gives me a catheter because I said I hadn't went to the problem was I just didn't have to go yet. So lesson in life is, if anyone ever comes into your hospital room and asks you if you've urinated today, you say yes. Always say yes. Yeah, I've like 6 times. I can go right now. You want to watch? Watch me. I'll do it right now. Never say no to that question. So, it's bad. And here's the thing. It's every bit as bad coming out as it is going in. Matter of fact, I think it was worse. I fell down the access trunk going down to our Spec Weps magazine. I guarantee you, I'd make it happen now, knowing how bad a catheter hurts. I'd be like, no, I'll make it happen. It's happening. Just give me a minute, doc. Give me a minute. My fucking hair is curly. It drives me nuts. My daughter's hair is starting to curl. I feel bad for her. It always ties up in knots and shit. Let's see. I lost it. Who went somewhere? Let's see. Miss anything? Tried that. Go now. Roger that, GM1. Woke up with it in. So it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. What's up, Cody Moore? Wasn't there an easier way down? So on our ship, we had 3 deep trunk magazines, which was 4 levels, basically. So like a 4-story building. So our Spec Weapons mag, which used to hold nukes and stuff like that, it only had 1 entrance anywhere through that entire trunk, which is basically just a vertical shaft with a ladder in it. Well, that trunk, figure skating. And yes, and I have a GoFundMe set up for that. If you search my name, you can find it. I'm not asking necessarily for you guys to donate. Just share it as much as you can. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want to do, share it, please, because I really got to take the sting out of this. I did the math. This season's going to cost us between $18,000 and $20,000 for her skating season. At any rate, so there was a 16,000-pound elevator. You could drive fork trucks on this elevator, but we had maintenance workers in and out of this trunk, up and down, up and down, up and down. And they had tracked grease up, and there's really nothing to stop you from falling because the fucking safety nets were out for weight testing. Doesn't mean you stop working. You're just extra careful. And so I started down the trunk, and I had a handful of tools and a tool bag, and I'm going down the trunk, and I didn't have a line to drop it all the way down. So, yeah, fuck it, I can do it. I've done it before. But there was grease on the ladder, and my foot slipped, and I couldn't hold on, and I went all the way to the bottom, and I hit shit going down, dislocated my right knee and hip. I broke, I think, 4 ribs on my right side and fractured my spine. And like kids, I was like 19 when that happened. And then I got medically retired when I was in my 30s. So I had kids that become, oh, is that why I'd tell them a story about falling down an access trunk. I was like, oh, is that why you got medically retired? I was like, no, motherfucker. I had just started my career then. I was 18, actually. I joined when I was 17. That was a year after I joined. I was 18. I broke my neck and all that shit. And then I basically went AWOL from the hospital because I knew my ship was leaving. And if I stayed in the hospital any longer, I was going to lose my orders. And so I broke out of the hospital and went back to the ship. And the captain was like, you are in so much fucking trouble right now. I was like, sir, I loved our captain so much that I specifically told him when they brought me up to the captain's quarters while the ship was getting underway, because I came up the gangplank onto the ship, and I was like, he's like, what the fuck were you thinking? They've called us like 3 times. And I was like, sir, I'll lose my orders, and I'm not going to work for anybody but you. And that set a relationship between me and Captain Golden that was, it was unique. And as a matter of fact, I still talk with Captain Kenneth Golden, Kenny G. Kenny G. The golden years. When he was on that ship, that's what we called it. So when basically we went back to our home port, and he put me up on shore deck, and I did all of my recovery there, basically at home. So it was unique. I could have gotten into so much trouble, but basically, I told him I could not picture at that point in my career in the Navy ever working for anyone but him. And to this day, like when I think of the epitome of a commanding officer, I think of Captain Kenneth Golden. And when I think of the epitome of a chief, I think of Chief Bruce McClintock. Those were the two most pivotal people in my career in the Navy. Captain Golden when I was very young, and then I was getting out. I was done. I was fed up. I was tired. I was the shitbag second-class sailor. I had one uniform. One. And I went out one night and I got drunk and I got in trouble, and Chief Bruce McClintock had to pick me up at security, and I came in drunk as fuck the next day, and he sat me down and said, here's the deal. You will come to work tomorrow morning, sober, clean uniform, pressed, polished shoes, and you're going to work for me directly. And that man sat me down and handed me a spiral notebook and had me start copying the Gunner's Mate 3 and 2. When I finished that, I copied the Gunner's Mate 1 and C, which are rating manuals that have all the information you need to do your job, everything you would ever need to know. So I did then the 1 and C, and then I did the transportation manual. I did the AA&E Conventional Arms, Ammunition, and Explosives Security Manual, the Key and Lock Program Manual, the OP4 and OP3, which are ammunition handling ashore and afloat. And I copied these into spiral notebooks. And you know what? Test time rolled around, and I got a 99 percentile on the test. I scored higher than 99% of the people that took the test, and the day everybody else got frocked, which means you wear that rank, but you're not getting paid for it. I was first increment. I got paid that day. And I can never repay the life lessons I learned from that man. I can't except to pay them forward, and I did the same thing with my sailors. That's the only thing you could do. So talk about living in a small house. We didn't really have a small house. We had a 3-bedroom house growing up. We didn't have indoor plumbing for part of it, but I grew up in a small town. The smallest house I ever lived in was berthing 2 on a fucking goddamn guided missile cruiser. Holy shit, guys. It's not that it's small. It's just that it's probably a room the size of this shop, like 1,300 square feet maybe, with like 95 fucking people living in it. It is the closest living quarters you can imagine. But those were the two most pivotal people that I could think of besides my father and mother. Where did I grow up? I grew up in Southeast Ohio. Actually, it's not so much southeast. It's southeast of Columbus, about an hour and a half. Let's put it this way. It is the exact same distance for me to drive to Pittsburgh as it is to drive to Columbus. So I'm about an hour and 15 minutes southeast of Columbus, hour and a half maybe, and about an hour and a half from Pittsburgh. I can drive to Wheeling in about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depends on traffic, which there is none in Southeast Ohio. Wheeling, West Virginia, that is. I have got to, guys, order a new grip for my SIG. The rubber is completely splitting. Completely splitting on that grip, and I don't know if they even sell those anymore. Yeah, it's in the middle. South, is it south? Is it in the, it's kind of southeast of Columbus. It's right in the middle between Pittsburgh and fucking, right in the middle. Yeah, Chris has been to where I'm from. It's in the middle of nowhere. You been to Fresno and West Lafayette yet? Because Coshocton is a bustling metropolis compared to where I grew up, which was Fresno. So you take, come out on Chestnut, go across Chestnut Street Bridge, right behind the sheriff's department, go out past the beer dock, take a right onto 93, shoot all the way down to the blinkers, to the signal at, I've been to Wellsburg. So you take a left at the signal down past the Walmart, just down past, I can't remember the trucking supply place that has the big trailer that's on the, if it's still there, on the stilts. Willie Pig, yeah, it's technically in Fresno. That's even more the middle of nowhere. So those things dinged. Let's go check on it. Let's see how the ceramic cooked. If the ceramic didn't cook well, I'm gonna be disappointed. It's still there. I can't remember. It's a trailer up on top of stilts. You go past there, down the dip, around the curve, past the high wall from the old. So you come down, then you come back up a little bit around the curve, and then you come down, and you've got the fucking, we used to call it Stringtown. I think it's Happy Valley now. The trailer park there on the right. Turn left. If you go right, you go across the bridge into West Lafayette. You take left, it'll take you straight into Fresno, across the bridge. You could miss it if you blink. I still remember how to navigate. I grew up there. So ceramic looks as though, please don't do that and chip yourselves. Black ceramic. Yeah, there ain't much for a guy that fucking makes knives, sharpens knives, and knows how to blow shit up for a living. I got out of the Navy, I was like, I didn't learn any marketable fucking skills. I don't fucking make shit go away. I how to blow shit up. I believe I'm gonna have one more beer. I'll save one for Elliot for tomorrow. I actually could do that. I am a journeyman pipe fitter. I did the journeyman pipe fitter course through Department of Labor. U.S. MAPS, I think, is the name of the program. Yeah, maybe for road construction, but I'd have too much fun with that. Plus, it doesn't pay as great. Says the guy that has only paid himself once. I will tell you, let me put it to you this way. So this guy is, this young man here, Alex, he's an aviation guy. So, I mean, no, let's not hold that against him. Airedales are prima donna pussies most of the time, but he seems like an all right guy. He works at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, so can't be all that bad. I will tell you, that's all you're offering is gunner's mate? Well, that's a hell of a good offer. I had an opportunity to go in a nuke program, and I fucking looked at what gunner's mates get to do. Let me put it to you this way. I'm going to tell you two things. If you go, don't go missiles. I mean, you get a re-enlistment bonus and things like that, but your life is not going to be near as much fun. I was a 5-inch gunner's mate, which meant that I also owned the armory, which means technically I had a bulletproof room full of machine guns that had my name on the door, and I was allowed in there any fucking time I wanted. The other thing was I had two, not one, but two 5-inch gun systems that I was in charge of. Now, a 5-inch gun system will take a 72-pound projectile, and it will fire it for 13 nautical miles at twice the speed of sound, whose impact is associated with a bright light, a loud noise, and a fucking rapid going away of things. And if that don't give you goosebumps every time you think about it or say it, then it ain't the job for you. Because I have been retired for 10 years, and just saying that, just even thinking about what I got to do on a daily basis gives me fucking goosebumps. So I was passionate about my job. I loved my job, right? I would tell my kids, like, hey, I'm thinking about getting out. And I was like, go ahead. You know what? I thought about getting out for a while. I worked in an ordnance facility. All I did was handle bombs and guns and shit. Bombs and missiles, and I really didn't like it, and I was kind of fed up. But then I found a love for my job, and my love for that job sent me to the top of, at that time, it sent me to the top of my chosen career path. And then once you get there, it's hard to stay because it's competitive, But then I found that passion and being able to have things like that, the things that, and I would tell the kids, they're like, look, if that does not get you going, just thinking about that, then maybe it's not for you. But I got news for you. The fact that we have those things and I work inside that gun makes my fucking life worth fucking doing. And my wife knew that I was married to that gun. I was married to that ship, and I was married to my job, and she was more of a mistress. If you're not ready for that, if you don't want to do that, then maybe gunner's mate's not the job for you. But I very rarely had a kid not re-enlist after that speech. And it wasn't a speech. It was true. I loved my job. I did not, I've said it before. You guys heard me say it before. I was not someone that had to go to work. I was given the honor and privilege of going to work every day. And I took advantage of it. I went to work early. I stayed late. I didn't come home sometimes. I loved that job, and I loved every minute of it. And so when people say, thank you for your service, you don't have to thank me. It was a fucking honor and a privilege, and I fucking loved every minute of it. And I cried for a week when they told me I was getting medically retired. I did. Not gonna lie. Fucking ain't nothing wrong with that. It was like somebody had killed my fucking puppy. I can honestly say that, like, I hear people talk, oh, college is the best time of my life. And I was like, I think about what would be the best time of my life. And before now, yeah, I have a wife and a kid. That's the best. That is the best. I love my daughter, and seeing her progress and seeing her grow and things like that. That's amazing. But when I think back to everything before she was born, the best time of my life was the first 4 years, my first ship. The things we got to do. I went to fucking Russia when I was 18 years old. I went to Russia. I went to Guam, then I went to Singapore, then I went to Bali and Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, then back to Singapore, Hong Kong, fucking Australia, New Zealand. I went to fucking Mombasa, Kenya. That was a banner day. Like, woo, Mombasa. I could have skipped this one on my list of places to go. Don't. I mean, if you've got a chance to go to college, you probably should. I mean, you can always go to college after, but they're not all lady boys. That's the misconception. You just got to know that if you go down, there's a specific, so if you go to Pattaya Beach, Thailand, it's really hard. I've never understood. It's like, oh, I accidentally got a lady boy. Motherfucker, any direction you come into where all the Benny boys hang out, there's a big sign that says Boys Town. Like, stay the fuck away from Boys Town. I mean, my first ship, like I said, Captain Golden, it was amazing. I re-enlisted 2 weeks after he left and transferred 2 weeks after that. And I went to my second ship, and Commander Jack Federoff, he was an amazing guy, but it just was not the same. And then we got a guy that came in. That was the longest 2 years of my life. I'd already done a 6YO. So I did 6 years, and then, I did 2 on that ship, and then I had shore duty for 4 years. And I mourned my re-enlistment until, like I said, Chief Bruce McClintock completely turned my life around the other way. I would not be where I am now if it wasn't for those 2 pivotal people outside of my father. Those 2 people outside of my father had the most impact and most influence on my life. And my father sculpted it a little bit, but they refined what they saw in me and turned me into the person that I am today. 100%. I'd still be back home. I'd be doing the same shit that everybody else is. Fucking scraping by, working at a fucking steel mill that runs 3 days a week. Yeah, it's Chris, Clow. I worked at Clow before I joined the Navy, off the books. But, that place is basically shutting down. They only run 3 days a week, Clow fixtures. I guarantee you guys have seen a Clow fire hydrant. They're all over the place. They only run like 3 days a week. I would be nowhere. I'd be nowhere. I wouldn't have met my wife. I thought about going to college. I tried out for Well, we're not getting into it. But at any rate, I tried to go to college and it didn't work out. And all these things, no, AK Steel still runs, but they're running with Chinese steel. So, I mean, could things have been done different? Yeah, things could have been done different. But the fact is that if I had done them different, I wouldn't have met Captain Golden. I wouldn't have met fucking Chief McClintock. I wouldn't have met some of the people that are some of the best friends I've ever had in the world. And I wouldn't have met my wife, and I wouldn't have my daughter. I would be back in Ohio. I wouldn't know Nico. I wouldn't know Matt. I wouldn't know Chris. I wouldn't know Elliot. None of this that you're seeing here would happen. One pivotal decision was, I'm joining the Navy. I'm joining the Navy. That's my decision. It's going to get me out of trouble. It's going to get me out of this bullshit town. And now, that one decision precipitated all of this. The start of this business, me meeting Elliot, having my daughter, my wife. It all runs backwards. If you run it back, it all starts back at the day that I walked into the recruiter's office. Now, like I said, I should do a recruiting video. The military is not for everyone. It's not. It's hard. It's rough. No sleep. None of this. It's just go, 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 all go, no stop. So it's not for everybody, but there's a certain group of people that it definitely is for, and those people thrive on that adventure, the adrenaline, the rush, the push, the what can I accomplish in such a short time frame, and things like that. School wasn't for me. I mean, I liked certain things in school. I loved chemistry. I still study chemistry. I fucking love languages. I study Japanese. Well, I haven't for a while. Taught myself Japanese, basically. But, you know, there's so many things that in your life that revolve around one pivotal decision, and you don't know. You don't know what that decision is. And, like, you'll make a decision that could tip the scales of your life without even knowing it. And then you look back on it in the past, you're like, oh, my God, best decision ever. And then there's other people that look back on it and, fuck, I wish I hadn't robbed that goddamn grocery store. You know, that's... It's just, I mean, some of those decisions are quite obvious. Like, I robbed a grocery store when I was 17. Yeah, that's probably bad. Well, we're not going to be here any longer. I've got to get off of here, guys. I'm going to finish this beer. I got to clean up. It's 8 o'clock. I got to go home. Yeah, that hurts your future prospects for job opportunities when you rob a grocery store. That joke comes from, I went to high school with a guy, great guy. We were both on kind of the same path, and I joined the military. He robbed a grocery store. I got a wife and kid. He's got a felony record, can't own firearms. I can. Well, I posted up. The grind is inevitable when you're talking about work. When you're talking about work, even if you find something you're passionate about, I love this. I really do. I enjoy making knives. I enjoy sharpening them. I'm passionate about it. But I'm not gonna lie, that post that I put up on Instagram, the grind is inevitable. Your motivation will wane. You've got discipline. That's it. It's discipline. You've got the discipline to force. I've been here since it's stupid fast. There was one over here the other day. No, this is not a water pistol. This is a fucking 40 Sig Sauer, and this thing will feed those rounds, no fucking problem. Trigger discipline. Sig does not have a safety. I don't need one. Oh, it's fucking sick watching them fucking things. Well, yeah, you're goddamn right, and that's not lucrative. I'm making 5 knives for this guy. I've got 20 hours tied up in them, and they're not even ground yet. You know how much I'm gonna make on that? Yep. You know how much I'm gonna make on 9 knives? I'm gonna make right about $1,000. I'm already 20 hours into it. I haven't even done the finish on these ones yet. I haven't ground any of those, and they all have to go off to get laser engraved. But I am probably going to send them to Prince Customs. So, booger hook and bang switch. Nah, I'd see kids at the range when I worked at the range, and they'd get their finger up in here, and I'd come over to Mike, get your fucking booger hook off that bang switch, Junior. This is where your finger goes. That shit don't drop down in there. Even then, I don't. It's so much fucking trigger discipline that I won't even let myself actually do it. But you'd see that finger drop in there, and until you keep your fucking booger hook off that bang switch till you're ready to make it live. Love this gun. Oh, it's a Sig Sauer. Sig Sauer. It's a Sig. Did I say? Okay, I said in a video that I did say in a video that you don't get good results. It's not that you don't get good results. It's the Sig Pro 2024 or 2022 in 40. So go back, find my video where I talk about the Wicked Edge. I did a video about it. I'm not gonna fucking run through the explanation of why. I've done it so many times. I don't feel the urge or energy or any of that to do it. Just know that the sharpening serrations go the wrong direction. So, guys, I got to close this out. I got to clean up the shop. I got to pull those 2 knives out, put them somewhere so I can come back Thursday, start on this again. I'm going to take a day tomorrow to catch up on sharpening and then come back Thursday to do knife making. My favorite utilitarian purpose rifle? Come on now. Come on now. It's the M1A, the M14. Can't go wrong. Cannot go wrong with M14. The only thing I don't like about the M4 or the M16, any of the M16 variants, I don't like the round it fires. Not that 223 is not a bad round. It's a good varmint round. I don't like shooting it. I much rather prefer shooting a 308 or 7.62. Which, you like the SKS? Well, Nathaniel, the SKS is another fucking 7.62. It's different. You know, you get 7.62 by 3.9, and then 7.62 by something else. I can't remember. I could get an AR-10, but I have news for you. I can't afford an AR-10. And you can't have one unless you're law enforcement. You cannot have an AR-10 in California. Yeah, 5.4. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. I suppose I can hang out with you till I finish this beer. I have an M1 Garand, which is basically, it's a carbine, so it's a little bit shorter than your average M14 or M1A. Basically that is a 30-06, M14. AR-10's legal, but in San Diego, you're not going to be able to buy it unless you're law enforcement. That's just, I've looked into it. I own a Garand and 2 different M1As, which are M14s. Navy told us 3-round stop threat. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's why I don't own a 9mm. While they're fun to shoot, 9mm are fun to shoot. Don't get me wrong. They are well-built guns and shit like that. I know that when I pull the trigger on this, that it's going to have some stopping power. This is a 40. My usual carry is a 45, but it's just this one is a more comfortable carry because it's got a lot more meat to it. I brought it today because all the noises I heard last night. So if I was going to carry one, it would be this. It'd be this. I need to get a new grip for the rubber is. I don't want to wound badly. I don't want to suffer. I just want them to, fucking die. I have the 57 Sig barrel for this. So you guys that don't know, The magazines for this are 40 Smith & Wesson or 357 SIG. I have a 357 SIG barrel for this, but the problem is 357 SIG is, it's an obscure round, and it's expensive. It's hard to come by. So I don't ever shoot it. Exactly. Injury equals lawsuit. 10 millimeter, I can shoot 10 millimeter. It doesn't bother me, but there's a lot of people that cannot shoot a 10 millimeter. It's just too much. It's too much for a lot of them. The FBI, the 40 Smith & Wesson actually comes from the fact that a lot of the people couldn't shoot it, so Smith & Wesson came up with a round for it that you can still fire a 40 Smith & Wesson out of a 10 millimeter. It's just got less bang. And then, so it's like shooting a 38 out of 357 or a 44 special out of a 44 Magnum. It's the same deal. It's 10 millimeter. You can fire a 40 S&W out of a 10 millimeter, but not vice versa. When I sight in my, my 44 Magnum, because I'm only going out, just when I sighted in the last time, I only went out like 10 yards. The drop and everything on 44 special is not going to be any different. You're not going to see a marked change, and I just needed to sight it in from the headboard to the fucking bedroom door. So I shot like 40 rounds of 40 or 50 rounds of 44 special, just to sight in my 44 Magnum. My house loads are fucking 44 hollow points, 44 Magnum hollow points. You don't want to kick in the door to my house. It's a bad idea. 40, I like 40 because it is the best of both worlds. Here we go. It's the best of both worlds. I got to finish this beer anyway. 40 is the best of both worlds. You get the accuracy and almost the same speed as a 9, which, I mean, that's great. I love how accurate a 9 millimeter is. I can fucking destroy people at the range. But you get almost the same stopping power as a 45 or a 357. So you've got, can I speak Japanese? Hi, Nihon wa shabimasu yo. 13年が住んでました。Yo, I lived in Japan for 13 years. 13年ぐらいは、佐世保から10年ぐらいは住んでしたと、横須賀は2回は、横須賀は3年ぐらいは住んでした。奥さんはね、まだもっと住んでした。佐世保と久留米と福岡、東京ぐらいの、横須賀は東京は近いだから、横浜とか、横浜、そう、ちょっと待って、西から横浜と東京、それは自転車行くのねは横浜駅と東京駅はちょっと遠いでも You guys have no idea what the fuck I was talking about. They're kind of far apart. I was talking about the different train stations you take to get to Tokyo from where I lived. Speak Ohio. Well, here's the thing. Train station's up here on your right. And when you go up there, you're going to see that there's a bunch of squiggly writing. That's Japanese. But if you look real hard, there's a green "Help Me, I'm Lost" sign, which will tell you exactly where you're at. Is that better? So, with current abilities, the difference is minimized. Yeah, maybe now. But here's the thing. I don't agree. Like, the FBI came out and said, 9 millimeters, every bit as good of a man stopper as other rounds. And I was like, I want you to look at one-shot stops, center mass. One-shot stops, center mass. Because the thing is, people realize real quick that 9 millimeter is not a good center mass stopper. And so what would happen is, you would get people that start aiming a little high. And the one-shot stops you got were probably chin, throat, forehead, or directly into the heart. So when people realize that you're getting through and throughs, it's the thing. But The flip side of this, for the military, 9mm is not a good man stopper. They're not allowed to use hollow points. There is no transfer of energy with a 9mm. I will explain it to you the way I explained it to my junior guys. I have a tack hammer, I have a sledgehammer. I can take that tack hammer and I can throw it fast as fuck. But when it hits, how much damage is it gonna do? It's gonna hurt. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna hurt if I hit you with it. If I take that sledgehammer and I throw it the same, it's not gonna go as fast. But if it hits you, stand the fuck by. Tack hammer versus fucking, sometimes short, fat, and slow gets the job done. Stay away from the 15. What are you talking about? Who is this? Is traffic bad on a 15? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, we're using the military uses full metal jackets, and that's, FMJs, like, here's the thing. You should shoot, having worked at ranges and top marksmanship, if you're shooting, you should be shooting the same ammo that you're carrying, because 145 grain jacketed ball ammo is going to have a different flight pattern and a different way it shoots, and then everything about it's gonna be different than a 137 grain hollow point you're shooting, or 130, you know? So, well, guys, I'm almost done with this beer. I'm gonna get off here. It's been 76 minutes. Yeah, half the country thinks they shouldn't be able to. I got news for you. Half the country's fucking stupid. That sounds like your father might need to not have guns. Everybody says, there's a lot of people, oh, your God-given right to this, your God-given right to that. Well, I worked for the government. I love this country. I would lay down my life and bleed for this country. But I will tell you that if you don't have a means to defend what you have, you ain't got it. There's a reason that we've never had an invasion in this fucking country. There has never been an occupying force attempt, well, since, you know, back in history, but in modern times, the United States has never had an occupying force attempt to take this country. And you know why? Because there are more guns in the hands of civilians than there are fucking civilians to carry them. I got more guns in my house than there are people in hands to carry them. That's why. You cannot invade a country that allows its citizenship to own as many weapons, and the government is terrified because what this country was based on was the fact that if a government becomes too intrusive, too overbearing, and too powerful, that government should be overthrown. That's what the Second Amendment is about. That's 100% what it is. It is a means for you, the people, to defend yourself from a corrupt and overpowering and overbearing government. That was their caveat. It was founded by people who had fought to free themselves from the bonds of fucking slavery under a government that was oppressive. And if you think that they weren't slaves to the king and the church, you're wrong. So everybody's like, what do you mean the church? And news for you. Until here, not too many moons ago, not too many centuries ago, the church decided who was going to rule, who was in charge, and what the laws were. Because the church was the closest thing to government we had under a monarchy in Europe. Not to get on a big political tirade, but I would tell you, if anybody's got a question about what's going on in this country where boys and girls, and they have no sexual identity, I would ask you to go and look up the mouse utopia experiments. So that's all I got to say about that, where the mice decided that the boys weren't going to act like boys and the girls weren't going to act like girls anymore. And guess what? There is no mouse utopia. They all died. So I know some smart stuff, guys. I do. I know some smart stuff. Might not look like it or sound like it or act like it sometimes, but I do. Guys, I love y'all. It's been 80 minutes. 80 minutes. 80 fucking minutes. I will talk to y'all later. I gotta get off here. The Aaron Frederick video, I will try my hardest to get it up tonight, but there's a good chance as soon as I get home, I'm falling asleep. So you guys take it easy, and I'll talk to you later.